Welcome in, Earth Signs. It's Heather with Heather's Healing, and I'm here to look at the energy of July 2026. So, welcome in. And as I shuffle the cards, I'm just going to tell you what I was seeing for the month of July. Um, so, the message that I got was looking behind the veil, looking at the barriers that hide the heart of the matter. The other thing that I was seeing, or hearing, was Aries and Virgo. So to me, that means the details inform the action. So it's really important to pay attention to the details and patterns that you're noticing. Anything that is blocking your heart, blocking the way you're able to connect with yourself or connect with others. Maybe a way that you play small or you try to pacify yourself for others. um, the other thing that I was seeing was a clock tower. So there is an urgency to this. Now is the time. And the most important thing, or the biggest thing that stood out to me, was I kept seeing figs. And figs can mean a lot of things: beauty, peace, abundance. But the thing that stood out to me the most about the fig was awakening to your truth, and releasing attachments that block your spiritual flow. So I feel like this month there's a lot of healing going on, and illuminating your truth by paying attention to patterns and ways of being that hold you back. So, Earth signs, Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo, are you ready to peek behind the curtains and see the inner working of your world? Because I feel like that's what we are doing this month. So we're going to ask the questions: what from your past needs to be laid to rest? What is then illuminated or set free? Now is the time to take action on what, and what truth are you awakening to? So I'm excited to see what comes up for you. So, Earth signs, what from your past needs to be laid to rest? What from your past needs to be laid to rest? Six of Pentacles. I feel like this is the way that you value yourself. This is the way that you were taught to value yourself. Um, your self-worth. And I think you could look at this a few different ways. As a child, how was your self-worth? What was your perception on your self-worth, and how did that show up for you? And then you could look at it now. How do you see your self-worth? How is that expressed to you? I feel like these are the details that are going to be coming up throughout the month. Um, these are the barriers that maybe you've put up around your heart. Um, Interesting. Six of Pentacles. What is your self-worth? In the past, how did you value yourself, and how did others value you? And maybe this has really changed. Maybe you didn't see yourself as valuable or worthy unless you were giving to others all the time, or working tons. It could be all sorts of things. But look at what is coming up for you this month around self-worth. I feel like there's just a lot of um inner child healing that is happening this month. And from the feeling that I was getting from spirit, there's going to be patterns coming up for everyone this month. And if you can pay attention to these patterns, you'll notice that these are patterns that you've done all your life. So for earth signs, look for patterns around self-worth, worthiness, or not feeling worthy, however that's showing up for you, and how do you engage with those patterns? Um, Does it shut you down? Have you maybe you've moved past a lot of these, so now you can see them for what they are? Um, Pay attention to that because these are patterns that have been going on for a really long time, and you're being invited to notice these patterns and let them go. I find it interesting when I first was hearing the questions to ask for this month. I thought that this "what from your past needs to be laid to rest." I thought this would be like very specific incidents, but it doesn't feel like that. It feels like conditioning and patterns that we embraced as kids, and these conditioning and patterns have carried on into adulthood and are causing problems. And we're being asked to pay attention to those details. So, earth signs paying attention to self-worth, worthiness, what makes you important, because you are important, but maybe you felt as a kid that you weren't. Maybe your value has always been focused on what you have to give, physical things that you can give. So take a look at that. Because if you're able to break these patterns or see these patterns for what they are, it's going to illuminate something else. It's going to set you free. So what is then illuminated or set free once you notice this pattern around worthiness? Once you can see that, and maybe for some of you, you know exactly what this is. You've already acknowledged that. Fantastic. What is then illuminated or set free? Real abundance. We've got the King of Pentacles. You're able to separate what is illuminated. You're able to separate um, self-worth from physical things. You're able to separate and realize the importance of resources and abundance, but you don't wrap your self-worth into that. You're able to see them as very separate things. And I feel like that gives you a better relationship with money. I feel like that gives you a better relationship with resources. Um, I also feel like it will make it easier for you. You're just not identified with things, with your work, with your deeds, with you're able to see those all separate. You're worthy just because you are a creation of God. You are worthy just for that reason. You don't need any other reason. So there's a freedom that comes from this, from realizing that your self-worth is not how much money you make or where you went to school or who you know. Your self-worth is simply you. And there's nothing more that you need to prove or show. And I feel like that brings in a lot more freedom. I think that's a fig. I think that brings in a lot more freedom for you as well. Hmm. And maybe that also gives you the permission to do less. Maybe that gives you the permission to stop trying to prove yourself to yourself or whoever you're trying to prove yourself to, because you are enough just being you. Okay, interesting. Now is the time to take action on what? What is Spirit asking you to take action on? I'm going to take this card, Nine of Pentacles. Wow, look at all these pentacle cards that we've got here. Nine of Pentacles. Slowing down. Yeah, no more like chasing all of these physical things that you think are going to add value to you, or other people will see you as more respectable or whatever. Slowing down, appreciating how far you've come, and appreciating all of the hard work that it's taken to get to this point. But now it's time for you to enjoy you. Enjoy life. Stop explaining yourself. People either get you or they don't. You don't need to keep explaining yourself to everybody. Nobody needs to understand why you do the things that you do. You don't need to justify yourself. You can just be. You can just exist and be, and that is enough. Um, and it's also okay to not overgive. Keep some of this money, keep some of these resources for you. You don't need to share everything. It's okay to hold on to stuff. And there could be some wounds that come up for some of you around being told that you're greedy. You know, um, you work hard for what you have, and you deserve to have what you have. And if other people see that as being greedy, well then whatever. That's a reflection on them, not you. It's okay to have what you have and enjoy it. And maybe you do have a lot more than other people. You don't need to feel shame or guilt around that either. Enjoy what you have, enjoy the life that you've created for yourself, and appreciate yourself, and appreciate the hard work that you've put in. I think it's interesting that the action you're being asked to take is really no action. You're being asked to just appreciate your life, appreciate what you have, slow down and appreciate it. And that's going to be real hard for some of you to do. So it is still taking an action. I just think that's kind of funny. I think it's so funny when I get advice from spirit that's like, just stop. And it's like, okay, that sounds so easy, but yeah, it's really hard for me to not do anything. That's wounding. That probably is linked into self-worth, um, and conditioning and patterning around self-worth. So very interesting. Okay, what truth are you awakening to, Earth signs? What truth are you awakening to? What truth are you awakening to this month? What epiphanies? What truths, Knight of Wands? That you can create whatever you want to create. That you can try new things without fear of failure. um, that you can fail and it's okay. It's not a reflection on you. It doesn't mean that you are not worthy or that you are inferior in some way. So be brave and bold and try something new without fear of failing. If you fail, whatever. Put yourself out there, be bold and courageous, and try something new. That's the truth that you're awakening to. That you don't have to be successful at everything, that you don't, it's okay to fail. It's okay to fail. And it's okay if other people don't like you. It's okay if people can think whatever they want to think about you, but you know who you are. Try something new without the fear of failure. Interesting. Interesting, earth signs. Um, a lot here around self-worth. So I just want to look out. So we've got the King and the Knight. We've got the Six of Pentacles. Just one sec here. I just want to see patterns or anything. So Six of Pentacles, this is going to be the Moon in Taurus. Again, going back to worthiness, conditioning, patterns, most likely from childhood. The Nine, this is Venus and Virgo. Venus, the Moon. Yeah, Okay. Lots here around um self-worth. The other thing that I'm picking up is some of this is probably generational. So you might notice this pattern throughout your family going back generations. There's been um a lot of emphasis on having money, having things as a representation of your worthiness or your or the value that you bring to the world. You might notice this. It does feel like there's this is very generational for some of you. All right, earth signs, final message for the month of July. I feel like we're going pretty deep this month. If you choose to, you don't have to, but a lot of insights to be had. All right, so final card for the month of July for earth signs. What do we have? Ooh, look at the eye. Card number 21, reality mirrors you. Hmm. Reality mirrors you. Very interesting. I love the eye. So pay attention. Pay attention to the patterns that you notice this month. All right, you guys, have a fantastic July. And if you have any questions, please let me know. I'm happy to um, add some more detail or context to anything. And take great care of yourself. I'll talk to you soon.